Gnosis, curated quotations of Friedrich Nietzsche by Mandy Moorehol. At once a decadent and a beginning, this, if anything, explains that neutrality, that freedom from partisanship in regard to the general problem of existence, which perhaps distinguishes me. To the first indications of ascending or of descending life, my nostrils are more sensitive than those of any man that has yet lived. In this domain I am a master to my backbone. I know both sides, for I am both sides. Knowledge and the affirmation of reality are just as necessary to the strong man as cowardice. The flight from reality, in fact, the ideal, are necessary to the weak inspired by weakness. These people are not at liberty to know. Decadents stand in need of lies. It is one of their self-preservative measures. He who not only understands the word Dionysian, but understands himself in that term, does not require any refutation of Plato, or of Christianity, or of Schopenhauer, for his knows sense decomposition. With this book, I open my campaign against morality. Not that it is at all redolent of powder. You will find quite other and much nicer smells in it, provided that you have any keenness in your nostrils. There is nothing either of light or of heavy artillery in its composition, and if its general end be a negative one, its means are not so. Means out of which the end follows like a logical conclusion, not like a cannon shot. May I be allowed to hazard a suggestion concerning one last trait in my character, which in my intercourse with other men has led me into some difficulties? I am gifted with a sense of cleanliness, the keenness of which is phenomenal, so much so that I can ascertain physiologically, that is to say, I smell the proximity, nay, the inmost core, the entrails of every human soul. This sensitiveness of mine is furnished with psychological antennae, wherewith I feel and grasp every secret. The quality of concealed filth, lying at the base of many a human character, which may be the inevitable outcome of base blood, and which education may have veneered, is revealed to me at the first glance. If my observation has been correct, such people, whom my sense of cleanliness rejects, also become conscious on their part of the cautiousness to which my loathing prompts me, and this does not make them any more fragrant. After I had exerted myself in vain to find an anti-Christian quarter, I feared that on one occasion, to avoid bad smells as much as possible, I actually inquired at the Palazzo del Quirinale whether they could not provide a quiet room for a philosopher. Now, by what signs are nature's lucky strokes recognized among men? They are recognized by the fact that any such lucky stroke gladdens our senses, that he is carved from one integral block, which is hard, sweet, and fragrant as well. He enjoys that only which is good for him. His pleasure, his desire, ceases when the limits of that which is good for him are overstepped. He divines remedies for injuries. He knows how to turn serious accidents to his own advantage. That which does not kill him makes him stronger. What I reproach the pitiful with is that they are too ready to forget shame, reverence, and the delicacy of feeling which knows how to keep at a distance. They do not remember that this gushing pity stinks of the mob, and that it is next of kin to bad manners, that pitiful hands may be thrust with results fatally destructive into a great destiny, into a lonely and wounded retirement, and into the privileges with which great guilt endows one. Did my very loathing forge me wings and the strength to scent fountains afar off? Verily to the loftiest heights did I need to fly, to find once more the spring of joyfulness. The genius of the heart, which makes all loud and self-conceited things hold their tongues and lend their ears, which polishes all rough souls, and makes them taste a new longing to lie placid as a mirror, that the deep heavens may be reflected in them. The genius of the heart which teaches the clumsy and too hasty hand to hesitate and grasp more tenderly, which scents the hidden and forgotten treasure, the pearl of goodness and sweet spirituality, beneath thick black ice, and is a divining rod for every grain of gold, long buried and imprisoned in heaps of mud and sand. This is no book for such who looks. Coffins and shrouds naught else are books. What's dead and gone they make their prey. Yet in my book lives fresh today. This is no book for such who looks. Who cares for coffins, shrouds, and spooks? This is a promise, an act of will, a last bridge breaking for good or ill, a wind from sea, an anchor light, a whir of wheels, a steering right. The cannon roars, white smokes its flame, the sea, The monster laughs and scents its game. A riddle here, can you the answer scent? When man discovers, woman must invent. My destiny ordained that I should be the first decent human being, and that I should feel myself opposed to the falsehood of millenniums. I was the first to discover truth, and for the simple reason that I was the first who became conscious of falsehood as falsehood. That is to say, I smelt it as such. My genius resides in my nostrils,